this video I'm going to be comparing the recently released Suunto Vertical 2 versus Garmin Forerunner 955 for running. How do these two stack up? Now, I've done a number of different runs and I'll be focusing on GPS connectivity and the accuracy of the heart rate sensors. As you can see, these two watches are quite similar in terms of design. The overall look, but there are a few key differences. One is that the Suunto has an AMOLED display and it has more metal parts which make it more heavier, whereas the Garmin has a MIP display and it's lighter. And the Garmin has 5 buttons, whereas Suunto has 3 buttons. So those are the basic differences. Now, for GPS, I have to say that I was very impressed with the Suunto. Now, both devices have dual frequency GPS, and I've done multiple runs through central London areas, and the recording was nearly identical, which I haven't experienced before when comparing Garmin to, for example, Amazfit devices or Withings trackers. Now here I'll give you an example of my most 3 recent runs. On a 7.56 kilometer run, both the Suunto and Garmin measured exactly 7.56. Now this is, as I said, central London through small streets where often I change directions, high buildings all around. On another run, it was 7.5 on the Suunto, 7.51 on the Garmin. And on the most recent run, which I'll take you through in detail, I measured 10.71 kilometers on the Suunto and 10.69 kilometers on the Garmin. So impressive accuracy, I have to say. Now also the speed of acquiring the satellite signal is practically the same between Garmin and Suunto. There's no difference. It's quick with whichever device you're using. Now, as far as heart rate, the story is a bit different there. I actually experienced some problems with Suunto on a couple of runs where I would get these odd peaks, and I didn't understand why. Later on, I figured out that what happens is because the Suunto Vertical is a bit heavier than the watches I normally wear, and I have very slender wrists. I was actually wearing it very close to my wrist bone, and it is only when I moved it up a bit above my wrist bone and made sure the strap was tight that I started getting accurate heart rate tracking during my running. So here is, for example, the 10.7K that I mentioned. On this run, the average heart rate on the Suunto was 150 BPM, whereas on the Garmin it was 151. And the maximum on Suunto was 172 BPM and on Garmin 171 BPM. So quite close. Here you can see how the two lines changed during the run. The yellowish line is the Suunto, the blue line is the Garmin, and they mirror each other very closely all throughout the run. There was a slight discrepancy on kilometer 6 when my phone fell out of my rucksack, when I had to stop and bend down and resume running. And I actually think the Suunto was the correct of the two. And I actually think that, I found that the Suunto heart rate picked up on heart rate changes quicker than the Garmin. The Garmin sometimes lagged a bit, but overall the stats are very comparable, as you can see from this graph. Suunto has actually upgraded the heart rate sensor for Vertical 2 as compared to its predecessor, and it's actually the same generation heart rate sensor that you can find on the recently released Suunto Race 2. So if you are having problems with the accuracy of heart rate, I suggest experimenting with positioning on your wrist. Now here I'll show you a side-by-side view between the Suunto app and the Garmin app for this 10.7K run. The Suunto is on the left, the Garmin is on the right. and both offer quite detailed data for running. I would say Garmin is slightly more detailed, but Suunto does offer plenty. You can chart various things, for example, heart rate, power, cadence. Here's the full list, speed, and all the data is very comparable to the Garmin. But as I said, Garmin does go a bit further. Now, Suunto does have some recovery and training load metrics, which are a bit different to what you can find on Garmin. And here you can see them. The app shows the fitness level, the fatigue level, and the form in one nice chart. You can also see the fitness change and VO2 max, which actually mirrored quite closely what I'm getting on Garmin. So all in all, as a long-time Garmin user, I was pretty impressed with how much the Suunto platform has been improved in the last few years. And for running, the Suunto Vertical 2 does a very, very good job. I like the interface. The AMOLED display is absolutely beautiful. It's easily readable in all conditions. And the GPS is top-notch. The heart rate sensor, as I said, you might need to experiment with positioning, especially if you have smaller wrists like I do. I'm actually testing Race 2 as well at the moment. And for that one, because it's lighter, I can wear it closer to my wrist bone and I'm getting accurate data. But with Vertical 2, because it's heavier, I do have to wear it slightly above my wrist bone. So that's something to keep in mind. And another thing to note is that the interface of the Suunto is very intuitive. Now, I'm not the one to read instructions, so I just dove straight in. For running, you just scroll down and you can switch on maps. You can adjust the settings. It's all there. Starting and stopping activities, pausing them is just as easy. And the watch will automatically ask you if you want to resume an activity if it sees you're moving. So all of these are nice little touches. If you're a runner and are thinking of purchasing the Vertical 2, I say it does a good job, especially if you have large or medium wrists. For those with smaller wrists, I suggest perhaps going for a Race 2 instead.